Hey everyone, today we're going to kick off a series of videos where we talk to first-time cruisers and give you tips and tricks to make sure you have an amazing first cruise experience. So if you are planning your first cruise, it can be very overwhelming. You're going to see a ton of information on the internet. So we're going to try to put all of these things together in one place for you so that you can get all of the information you need to go on an amazing first cruise. So today will be part one. We're going to do these in a few parts so we could talk at length about each one of them, and then we will put them all together as one long video as well. I just didn't want to put out 1 hour long video for you to try to watch and have that be super overwhelming. So let's get into our first cruise tip for first time cruisers. Let's go. Hey everyone, my name is John. I'm from Byte Cruises. We have a small travel agency here. Our only goal on YouTube is to give you the best information possible so that you can plan and go on an amazing cruise vacation. If you are a first-time cruiser and you are thinking about going on a cruise, we want to make sure you have all the information necessary so that you don't have a terrible first cruise experience and never go on a cruise again. We want you to enjoy and love cruising as much as we do. I've been on almost 70 cruises at this point. So my goal here is to make sure this first experience for you is really great so you keep coming back and cruising again and again and again. So we're going to take this in sections. It's probably going to be about 5 or 6 different tips that we give you. Tip number 1 is let's talk about what is included, what's not included, and how to make sure you get all the information so that you have one full price of everything before you go on your trip, so you don't get nickel and dimed and you don't wind up feeling bad about how much you paid. So one of the questions people always ask us is cruising more of a value, and is it a better deal than going on a land vacation? And it very well could be. Sometimes it is. I would say a good chunk of the time it is. And for me, the real pro is if you would like to see a few places at once, without packing and unpacking, you could do that. If you would like to really relax, rest, and recharge, but still have the ability to do a bunch of fun things if you want, that's another great reason to go on a cruise. Again, if you really want to dig into the culture and immerse yourself into a country, cruising's probably not the best option for that, and it wouldn't be the best deal because you're going to be only there for a day, maybe 2 or 3 at the most. So let's get into our first tip about how much to spend on your cruise. So when you go to book a cruise, if you're doing this on your own, which I generally wouldn't recommend, but if you do decide to go about this on your own, the price you're going to see most likely generically from most cruise lines is going to include a few things. It's going to include your room, which is your cabin on board the ship, which we'll do a whole video on those. It's going to include your basic essential foods, so food at the main dining rooms or at the buffet. So every ship has a dining room or several dining rooms where you can go for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a buffet, which you can also go to. Those items are going to be included in that cruise fare. What's also going to be included are your port fees. If you're going to different places, they generally charge a little bit of money to the cruise line, which then comes to you, and then your taxes. So those are your essentials that are included. The other things that are going to be included are your coffee, your tea, your milk, your juices, and your still water, not bottled water. So those are all the things that are generally included on most, if not all, cruise lines. The next things that are included are generally your amenities on the ship. So if there's any entertainment on the ship, like production shows or any kind of things going around the ship like trivia, those type of things, they're generally all included in your cruise fare. Next up, we're going to get into what is not included. So again, as a general rule, there are going to be a lot of things that are not included in your cruise fare. This doesn't mean that you can't get a package that includes some or all of these things. Just as a general rule, if you go onto one of the cruise line websites and you try to book a cruise, it's going to show you the bare bones package. And then there will be upgrades or maybe some packages to do different things. Sometimes there won't be. Sometimes it is what it is, and then you have to book all of those other things a la carte or extra. So let's talk about the biggest thing that's not included on most cruise lines, which is your drink package. So anything that's alcoholic, anything that's specialty coffee, bottled waters, Red Bulls, those type of things, fresh pressed juices, anything like that, those are generally not included in your cruise fare and could run you anywhere from $20, $30, $40, $50, up to $100 per day, per person. Something to really keep in mind. The next thing that's not included is internet or Wi-Fi. If you are going on a cruise and you want to keep in touch with the people at home, or you want to be able to just scroll TikTok during your cruise, you will have to pay additional for that. Again, this is covering most cruise lines. There are going to be some where there's variances. We'll talk about those later. But internet is not included, so you're going to have to pay for that. That runs anywhere, again, $10 to $20 to $25 to $30 a day at the very top line there, and that is going to be if you're getting basic Wi-Fi where you can just check your email, posting the social, or being able to stream, which in my experience the streaming isn't that great anyway. So there you go. Those are two things that are not included. Specialty dining is not included in your cruise fare. This is going to be a lot of the fancy restaurants. Most of the cruise lines now have some sort of upcharge dining. Could be a steakhouse, teppanyaki, where they do the fun times with your Asian cuisine, sushi. Those type of things are generally not included, and they are a little bit of an upcharge. Sometimes you could buy a package for those. Sometimes you can include them. We'll get into all of those different pricing options. Shore excursions. If you're getting off the ship and doing things, those are not included. You're going to have to pay extra for those, and you could do those through the cruise line or through a third party. We'll talk about that in another video. Next up, spa treatments are not included in your cruise fare. So if you'd like to get a massage, a facial, haircut, blowout, anything like that, those are going to be extra. And then one more thing that's going to be extra is gratuities. And this is a bone of contention in the cruise community, but they do charge you a daily kind of fee for gratuities to ensure that everyone gets the gratuities that they should be getting. So those are things that are not included. You will find some additional nickel and diming-ish kind of things if you go on a cruise. Just be prepared. You don't have to do any of these things. Sometimes if you're playing, if you want to play bingo, that's going to be extra. If there's a game show on board, like Wheel of Fortune or something, sometimes that will be a bingo-like charge. And occasionally there's a show or some kind of dinner theater or some kind of special perk that you will have to pay extra for as well. And there are all kinds of extra little things if you go shopping on board, obviously. Sometimes there's a chocolate place or an ice cream place that charges extra, or a dessert place. So just keep all of those things in mind. There are some additionals, but you can pretty much get to almost all-inclusive if you put a package together, or if you really kind of investigate everything. What we want to make sure is before you book, you know exactly pretty much how much things are going to cost. There are some cruise lines that are going to have varying scales based on supply and demand. So the drink package, for instance, for Royal Caribbean might be $55 per person one day and might be $80 per person one day based on sales, based on sailing, all different factors. So those are things to look at. I would advise talking to a travel advisor. It doesn't cost you any money to talk to a travel agent. You will talk to them, they'll give you all the information. They generally will have good deals. The cruise lines are not allowed to charge less than a travel agent, so it's basically going to be the same price or less from the agent if they have group bookings. So those are things to look at. So I would advise talking to a travel advisor, getting all the information so that you know what's up. There are some cruise lines that will have a package to put together where you could buy specialty dining in groups, 2s, 3s, maybe for your entire trip, specialty dining package, unlimited specialty dining. All of the cruise lines pretty much offer an unlimited drink package with some exceptions. On the Carnival brand ships like Princess and Carnival, you have a 15 drink limit per day so that things don't go off the rails. And then same internet and Wi-Fi, sometimes there are different packages as well for those. And you could buy pretty much gifts or anything like that if you want in advance to make sure that you are covered for when you go on your cruise and you don't want to pay for anything else. So that is a pretty good thorough rundown of what's included, what's not included in your cruise fare. If I missed anything, if you're watching this and you've been on a lot of cruises, please comment below. If you have any questions as a new cruiser or a first-time cruiser, please comment below. We'd love to answer those questions for you. You can also always reach out to me at jp@bytesizecruises.com. It's Byte with a Y, B-Y-T-E. I'm happy to answer any questions for you at all. There's no obligation, it doesn't cost you a thing. So that is it for today. That is going to be our first section on the money aspect. Tomorrow we are going to go through itineraries, sea days, port days, and kind of take you through that. Again, we're going to do this for a few days and then we'll pack it all together in one big video. If you would like to watch that, you could do that as well once that is done. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. We would love for you to like this video if you found it useful and subscribe to our channel. We put out a brand new video about cruising every single day, and we do a live stream every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Thanks so much again for watching. Happy cruising. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.